Hey everyone, I'm Paul with MadCap Software, and we are here. We are on our last video in our series on styles in MadCap Flare. And hopefully you've watched the other videos leading up to this because we are going to use some information from those videos like we've kind of done along the way. So this video is going to focus on table styles. And so far, we've kind of avoided talking about that until now because table styles are kind of unique. There's a lot of unique stuff in Flare, but these are unique when it comes to styles because there's actually two different kinds of style sheets. There's multiple ways to control the look of a table in Flare. You can set things on the table properties, and that is that would be your local formatting. But within the properties, you can also point to a separate kind of style sheet, a special table style sheet. So you can use regular style sheets, which is what we've been talking about this whole time in this series, editing your regular style sheets, and you can edit table styles in there. But there is this additional kind of style sheet that's special for tables. And so in your properties, when you're inserting a table or after you already have one inserted, you can go and you can point to it. So you can apply that special table style sheet to it. And there's some really cool advantages to that separate table style sheet. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. We're going to go through table styles in your regular style sheet using those. And we're going to talk about the table style sheets, the special ones. And we're going to talk about precedence, because what if you got settings in both? What's going to happen? And so we're going to go through all of that and show some examples of it all. So let's just go ahead and get started with it. All right, first of all, let's go into our regular style sheet. Let's open up Flare, look at our regular style sheet and the table styles in there that you can use to control the look of a table. And we'll see a table in a topic and just kind of go from there. Now I've got a topic open in this little project, and you can see I've already got a table inserted in there, and it's got a look and feel. This look was just provided by this project template that I selected. And so you can see the table has a unique look. It's got this, this header area with the dark blue background and the white text, and then alternating colors in the rows here. So it's just kind of a unique thing. Okay, but we're going to get to all that alternating rows and things later. First of all, we just kind of want to look at the mechanics of the table and our style sheet. So if you click outside of a table, you're going to see the basic structure of it down here. You're going to see, all right, so the outside is the table tag, and then within it, there are multiple tags, and it kind of depends on what you included with the table. So got a T head, and so obviously that's for this whole thing, that head up there. And then there's TR, which stands for, that's a table row. Okay, so that's within the T head. And then you got a TH because I'm clicking in there. So that's really for the content, that heading text in there. And so if I clicked out of it, you wouldn't see that TH anymore. Instead, you're going to come down here because I clicked in this cell, and you're going to see, all right, there's the T body, which controls really the rows and columns of the main content out, other than the header and the footer if you have one. And then within the T body, you've got each one of these has a TR, stands for a row. And then if you're clicking in one, you get a TD. And inside of that, in this particular case, I have a P tag. And you don't always have the P tag. You might just have a TD. All right. And if I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to go to my table properties, and it doesn't have a footer. I'm going to add a footer row in here just so you can see. Click down here and you can see, all right, I got an additional thing, a T foot for the footer row, TR within that also. And if I click within it, I've got another TD, and in this case, a P tag in it. But again, you don't always have a P tag in there. So those are some basic of basics of the styles, the tags and the styles that go along with them. There is another one that I kind of forgot in here, table properties. I didn't add a caption. So let's just go my caption. So you can add captions to tables like this, and they're kind of within the structure of those table styles, but you could also add a paragraph above or below a table and just a regular paragraph, and that could be your table caption. You could do that and put auto numbering on it, whatever you want. So here I've got a table caption, and oops, cursor's going crazy now, and I'm clicking in here and I'm not seeing the caption thing over here, but it is there. If I highlighted this, when you highlight text and you go to the text editor, you go through, you can see, yeah, it's wrapped within this table caption tag. All right, and so come back out here. So that's there. So there's all of those styles, and if I open up my regular style sheet in here, you're going to be able to see I can filter. So this is nice. Filter according to the table style. So I don't see everything else, and you can just see this stuff in here. And what I'm going to do before I do anything else, I'm going to look over and see what medium am I on. All right, I'm on my default medium. Good. That's what I want. I don't want to get messed up with anything else. Okay. So these are all gray. So it's just inheriting all these things, but you can see you can click on these and you can edit these tags in here. All right. And so if you're not sure, some of these are really, I just kind of took you through them. Some of them you're not exactly sure what they are. You can look in the help, and I would probably just search for the most unique thing in here, which is call group, COLGROUP, and you'll be able to find a couple of topics in there where it describes what all these styles mean in here. Okay, so you can edit these things in here if you want, but there is something to be cautious about with these. Also, if you are editing, say, the TD and the TH styles, you might find that they are also used for proxies that you insert for other things, like a TOC proxy or a mini TOC proxy. That could be the case. And so you want to be careful there. If you think you're just changing something for the table, it might be affecting that generated TOC too. So you just want to use caution there. But this isn't the only way to, change the look of your content in the table. All right. So yeah, so some of these, the TH, the TD, those are for the content, but a lot of these others are for the just kind of the general elements of the table as a whole, or the table body. And you can do things like putting borders and color backgrounds and things like that. So you go and back in here in this topic, I also do want to show you, not only do you have these structure bars on the left, but when you click inside of a table, if I'm outside of the table, I'm not seeing anything up here. But if I click within it, you also see these extra structure bars up here, which shows you the table. Okay, this is at 100 width, and shows you different bars for each column in here. And so you can actually click and drag to resize things in there. Just wanted to point that out because it is more than just those other structure bars. So you do have this. You do have those table styles. You can edit those if you want. Now, we're now going to go into the next section where we're going to talk about these special table style sheets because they're actually pretty easy to use, and you can get a lot of mileage from doing those, where you find that you don't need to edit your table styles in the regular style sheet. So let's go on and talk about that. Okay, so these special table style sheets, they were created because they allow you to do things. You can see how many, table styles there are in the regular style sheet. And it can be kind of complex, kind of hard to do certain things. And so these special table style sheets were created. They're still CSS style sheets with that CSS extension, but they just make certain things easier, as you're going to see. one of the things that it allows you to do, for example, is create these patterns on your rows or columns, and just create this look from the editor, which is pretty easy to use. So let's go back into Flare and let's look at an existing table style sheet, and then we'll create one. Now we've been looking at this table in here, and it is using a special table style sheet. So if I were to just insert a regular table, and you can do it from the table ribbon, you can see all these options. So there's a lot more to tables than I'm talking about in this video, or you can do it from the insert ribbon. There's the table thing right there. So it doesn't matter either way. So you can insert it. If you click the face of this button, you're going to open up the dialog, and it's just going to allow you to do more stuff. Or you can click this drop down and you can quickly click and drag over these little square things in here, and then click. And so here I've got a simple table. I'll just type some text in here so we get it. Not in all of them, but you can see this is really, really plain table, doesn't have any look to it at all. Whereas this table has a look and feel because it's pointing to this other table style sheet, which is here. So table style sheets, the recommended location is under resources and the folder table styles. And so I've already got this one called alternate row colors, right? The idea is that, all right, we got this heading with the blue, and then the first column is this kind of light gray, and then the next one is dark gray, and then it goes back to light gray. And the cool thing is if I decide, so I can right click, I'm going to right click on this TR because that stands for row, and I'm going to tell it insert a new row below, and it fixes the pattern automatically. I don't have to worry about it. And if I were to insert another one above it, so then this one would be light gray and that one would be dark gray. So that's really cool. So you can do things like that. Now, if I open up this editor, that table style sheet, you're going to see the editor looks different than the regular style sheet editor. You've got these tabs over here on the left. So the general tab allows you to just change general settings for the overall table, the margins, the borders, background if you want to do that. There's lots of things in here. Okay. And you get this preview over on the right. And then you can select rows, and you can tell it, you can specify things just for the rows. And sometimes you just need to do just rows or just columns because they're intersecting. It's kind of the same thing. But this particular table style sheet is set up to really focus on rows. And so you got these alternating row colors, but I could do the same thing for columns, and I could make the columns alternating colors too. And the way this works with the alternating colors, you come into the rows and you can see I've got two patterns set in here. And one of them, it's selected right here. And if you look down here, the distinguishing change in here is the color. And it's very hard to see, but that is the very light gray in there. Whereas if I select this second one, you can see it's darker. That stands for the second one. And then you tell it, all right, what kind of row is this going to be? Pattern just means it's automatic, but you could also click in here and select custom, which means that row would not be automatically included, but you could go into a table and you could say, all right, at this spot in the middle of the table down, I want to use this custom thing. So you might use something like that if you've got maybe subheadings in a table and you want a different background color for that. So I can change the repeat on these simply by changing the number here. So I changed the repeat on the first one. So now it's going 2 light gray, then 1 dark, 2 light gray, 1 dark. And I could just keep going there. I could do 3, right? So you can do whatever pattern you want. And that's really easy to do with this method, not so easy to do if you were using a regular style sheet. I can add another row in here to add to the pattern by clicking this, and it's automatically going to call it body 3, but you can name it whatever you want. And so I could give it a different, say a different background color in here just to make it stand out. That would look really ugly. I'd probably want something lighter like that, so you can see the text. And so you can do that. So this one automatically becomes part of it because it's a pattern row, but I could make it a custom row. So maybe it's unique. So it's not showing up in the preview, but maybe I'm inserting a table and I've got my pattern going. And then at some point I go, I want that pink row in there. And then you just apply that to that row. All right. And then there's other things down below in here that you can set. Height, font, there's all kinds of settings, the padding and so forth. And then you go into the columns tab, and it's the same thing. And this one, again, is focusing on rows, so they don't really have anything special set in the columns tab, but you can do that, play around with it and look at the preview and see how it looks. And then the header one, you can see I've just got the one row and it's got that dark background color in there. And the footer is just a pretty plain one down there, and there's a separator right there. Okay, so that's how you do it. That's how you edit these table style sheets. All right, now let's apply it, because we inserted this other table in here. We've got the one that already exists, but this one isn't using anything. So I could apply it when I'm inserting the table, or I could just come over here to my structure bar, right click on that table bar and come up to table style. And there's my table style sheet, and apply it, and it's got it right now. Okay, I'm not seeing the blue up there. Why is that? Because I don't have a heading on this, a header row. So if I right click it again, go back to table properties, and oh, right here, table row. Just do one table row, and I can add a footer row. All right, so there. So now I've got that, and I can type my text in there, and it's already just kind of set up that look and feel. Okay, so that's how you would apply one to an existing table. And the other cool thing about the table style sheets, you look in here, they also have the mediums built in and the media queries. So it's the same mediums and media queries that are in your regular style sheet. And so these are just out of the box, the default, the mobile media query, the print medium, the tablet media query. So if I were to add a new one, like I've talked about in previous video, let's add a product line B medium. And the idea is maybe instead of that dark blue heading row, I want it to be orange. Okay. And so I'm back in my alternate row table style. And now I can go and I can select product line B. And it's going to start out with all the same settings as the default. And I can come into my header tab. And instead of the blue, I would select whatever orange I want. Okay. And so now it is showing still the other one, because this is my primary. I haven't set up anything, any target yet to use that alternate medium. That's why you're not seeing it in here. But if I set up another target and I say, use this other medium, the tables, same, tables are going to be orange here. All right, so that is another really cool thing about that. Now, there are some issues that we want to talk about with table styles, especially because these are coming, the styles can be coming from two different places. They could be coming from your regular style sheet or the table style sheet, or it could be, you could just have a combination of things here. And so we want to talk in the next section about precedence, which we've done earlier in this video series on other things. So once again, anytime you got information coming from different places, you got to talk about what's going to win. So that's what we're going to do next. Now let's talk a little bit about the table style precedence in here, because you've seen me use a few different things. There's the properties dialog that you open up when you are inserting a table or going to edit the properties. there is the regular table style or the regular style sheet with the table styles, and then there's the special table style sheet. So what happens if stuff's coming at all those directions? Now, the properties dialog, there's not going to be too much conflicting in there because mostly in that you're saying, okay, I want it to have this many columns, this many rows. I want it to have a header, footer row, just settings like that. I want the, the percentage to be this, the size of it, and you're pointing to a table style sheet possibly. But there is another tab in there for borders. And so you could be setting borders in there. So what happens if you set something like borders in your properties, but you also have borders set in your table style sheet on one of the on one of those styles? And then what if you also do it in your special table style sheet? What's going to win? Well, remember, the closer to the source, that's the thing that wins. So the properties is going to win because that's more local. Okay, so if I were to set my borders there, that's the one that's going to be used. Second would be the special table style sheet. So if I set it there, that would be the next order. And then the third one would be the styles from the regular style sheet. So this may or may not happen to you. Just know that when you are creating your tables and things aren't looking right, consider precedence and go through and see if you've got conflicting settings. All right. All right. Up next, I want to talk about something that you could find yourself seeing and banging your head against the wall about when it comes to tables and styles. Because a billion years ago, when we first started implementing tables and table styles in Flare, this was one of the first gotchas that I came across. And I was like, wait a second, how do I fix this? And so it has to do with the content that is in your table cells and how the tags work and how you can get some really goofy looking mismatched content in there and what to do about it. So we're going to talk about paragraph tags in table cells. All right. So let's go into Flare and just work through this. Now I've got this table in here and it's using this table style sheet, and I've got just a little bit of text in here, but not much. And so it looks fine. Now let's go through the steps of inserting a brand new table. Only we're not going to, let's start out by not even having any table style sheet associated with it. And as I said before, you could insert a new table simply by just hovering over these things and clicking it. And all right, you got a plain thing in here, and I'm just going to type some text in just a few of these cells just so that we have something to look at. Not going to do all of them. So initially, okay, it's plain. It's, not real attractive, but it looks consistent. The problem is when I press enter after one of these. Now notice I click in a cell, any of these cells, whether it's got text in it or not, and it's TR and then TD. So TD, right? There is no paragraph tag in there. But as soon as I press enter, it turns it, it puts paragraph tag within it. All right. And now I've got this kind of goofy looking thing. This one is still over here. I click in that cell. It's still using TD. This one's using paragraph tags. And so you can end up with some really odd looking tables if you are starting out like this and things are just not aligned and you're going, what in the world? And how do I fix this? Okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. And this is one place where table style sheets, the special table style sheets, can really, really, really help you. So let's create a brand new, because I haven't even shown you, I should have shown this in the previous, in one of the previous sections, how to create a new table style sheet, because I just showed you how to edit an existing one. So let's create a brand new one. And I'm going to right click on the table styles folder over here and select new and table style. So got my alternate row color here. Now I'm going to do a new one. And you got these factory templates up here, basic, and you get your preview over to the right in columns, looks like that. So you can see the alternating columns. Inner looks like that, and rows looks like that. That's kind of what we already have in the existing table style sheet. But I'm going to do another one. Let's say I would just want to do a different pattern. I'm just going to do the basic one. Okay, I'll just select this plain basic one. Keep the file name as basic. Click add. It adds it in here, and there it is. And it is very, very plain at first. Okay, go back to our topic and let's say, all right, for this new table that I inserted, I want to use my new basic table style sheet. All right, right click it, table style, basic. All right, so it's taken on that look, and it's just got, I just have regular rows and columns. I don't have a header or footer in here. All right, and it's just kind of butting up against this other table down here. All right, so I still have the problem. Now I've got borders around it and everything, but I still have the problem with this stuff in it. Okay, so one thing that you probably want to do in here is to change the vertical alignment in that table style sheet. So I'm going to go back to basic, and I am going to go to rows, and I am going to scroll down. See the alignment fields? I'm going to select top, so I can just get all the text going up to the top, save it, save everything so that it saves my topic too. Okay, that's better. So now this text over here, which was down further, it's further up, but you can still see it's not really aligned well. This one has a little bit more space and this one doesn't. All right. And so, okay, it's better, but not great. And I can actually show this better if I apply. So this is a paragraph. These are paragraphs within, and this is just a TD. So if I were to go into my regular style sheet, and let's go to our paragraph styles so that I can change my P tag, and I'm just going to add color in here just for demonstration purposes, and we're going to make it a red. All right, I'm going to save, go back in here, and did I not do the right thing? What did I do? See? All right, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Can you spot what I did wrong here? This is awesome. I have product line B selected up here. That's why, see, I'm trying to go too fast here. This is why I always say when you open up a style sheet, look first to see what medium you're on. And I already broke that rule, right? So I'm going to actually undo that. Actually, I like it when things like this happen because this is what happens in the real world. And then you have to go, wait, what happened? So I'm going to select the default medium, and I'm going to change the color there to red. Couldn't figure out for a second what happened. Save, back. All right, now my regular text up here, of course, is red because that's my paragraph tag. It's using red in here. So you can more quickly identify what's got paragraphs and what's just TD in here. All right, great. So, all right, we still haven't figured it out yet. I mean, we still haven't solved the problem. What you can do is you can then use something in your, it's both in your table style sheet and it's in this table ribbon to select a specific style for your cell content, because these are going to start out, unless you tell it, they're going to start out with just TD. So I could, in an existing table, I could just select everything, go to my table ribbon, select cell content style, and I could come down to P. And now everything in there, including the ones where I haven't typed yet, those will be paragraphs. So even if it's one line instead of two, one paragraph, it's going to use a paragraph tag. So now everything is aligned, looks the same. So you can do that, but you can also do it ahead of time in your table style sheet so that you don't have to manually, every time you insert a table, go and do that. So let's go back into basic. And you can do this on a few of the tabs in here, but we're really focused on these rows in this one. And so I'm going to come down here all the way to the bottom. And this actually looks like a bug where this second field is kind of cut off in here. You would select a tag that you want to use, for example, P. And then if you wanted to select a class that is in the style sheet for that, you could use that. But let's just do the paragraph one for now. So now I go back and let's insert a new table. This time we'll select the face of this button and we'll give it we'll just give it all this stuff. And we're going to select our basic table style sheet, click OK. And now if I start typing text in any of these or even pressing it, it's all using that paragraph tag. All right. So that is an easy solution to that. But maybe you want your paragraphs to look different in a table than they do outside, like up here. So what you can do is you can create in your regular style sheet a class. And I actually have one in here already called table text. The idea is, all right, whenever I've got a new table, I want to use that style initially. And you can set these not just, as I said, not just for the row, but I could do it for, I believe, the header too, in the columns. Come down here. Yeah, you can set it for that as well, right? So in my regular style sheet, I've got table text. Now, if I add color in here, you're going to see it's inheriting from its parent, the P style. But maybe, just for demonstration purposes, I want my paragraphs in here to be blue. I could change like the margins and all kinds of stuff, right? So I just did that. So I could come in and in my table style sheet, I could go into the existing table and select that, and again go up here and select the deal. But it is good to just put these on the table style sheet ahead of time. So I'm going to go in here, scroll down. It is using the paragraph tag, but now I'm going to be more specific and say use table text. All right. So now if I go in and I insert a new table, select my table style sheet. There it is. Okay. So now my text in my table is blue, but outside of it, it's red. All right. So that is kind of another reason why table style sheets can be really useful and help you kind of cut through the muck and just get the things looking the way that you want. Now, you can have as many table style sheets as you want. Chances are you're just going to have, one or just a few. I think I have two, maybe three in mine. I've got my main one, which is that I use for most things. And I got a simple one that really doesn't have much decoration or any decoration in it at all. So it's really up to you what you want to do. But now you know how you can use a variety of methods for changing the look of your tables. All right, so there you go, table styles. And that is actually going to bring us to the end of our whole series on styles in MadCap Flare. Hopefully, you've gone through all of these videos and you have a better grasp of how styles work in Flare than you had when you first began, and you feel confident to go in and control the look instead of it controlling you. And so thanks for watching this video. We'll talk to you next time.